Timotab, and today I'm going to solve Basecamp by James Sinclair. Now, James has a weekly newsletter with 3 puzzles that you can get for free and some additional ones you can get if you pay a small subscription fee. I will link the newsletter in the description, as well as the first link in the description being a link to this particular puzzle. This is not one that was in one of his newsletters. It's an older puzzle that he mentioned on one of the Discord servers I'm on, and I thought it looked really interesting, so I decided I'd give it a go. Let's have a look at the rules. Alright, normal Sudoku rules apply. So we're going to place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Digits cannot repeat within a cage. Okay, so if we determined that this was a 6, then we could not place a 6 in any of these cells, even though they don't see the 6 by Sudoku. Okay. The small number in the top left cell of each cage is the sum of the digits in the cage expressed in a non-decimal number system. The base of each cage's given sum is equal to the digit in the cell showing that sum. So, here's an example. Let's highlight those 2 cells. So if we 2-cell cage contains the digits 6 and 5, then this would be the cell that's on the left. So in this corner, we would need 11, but represented in base 6, which would be 1, 5. And I'll explain a bit more about bases in a bit, but that's that. And I think I'll explain about the bases as part of the solve. Because 1, 5 in base 6 is equal to 11 in base 10. So that's how that works. That is actually all the rules, so I am now going to restart the puzzle to reset the timer, and let's begin. Okay, so how bases work. In normal decimal digits, if I have a number like 123, what we have here is this is the unit digit, this is the tens digit, and this is the hundreds digit, and that's 100 is 10 times 10. Okay? So what we actually get is 3 times 1 plus 2 times 10 plus 1 times 100. Now, if this were a base 5 number, for example, then this would be 3 times 1. This digit would be counting 5s. So we would have 2 times 5, and then this number, this digit, would be counting 5 times 5s. So that's would be 25 plus 10, which is 2 times 5, so that's 35, and then the 3 would be the 3 would be 38. So this would be, if this were a base 5 number, this would be 38 in base 10. Okay, now some things to think about in different bases. So in base 10, the digits you can use are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When you get above 9, you go back to 0, and then you add 1 in the next column. And for any base, it is true that the digits available in that base go up to 1 less than that base. So base 2, which is also known as binary, can only use 0 and 1. Base 3 can only use 0, 1, and 2. And that is going to be useful, I think, because we have a 1, 8 there. Now we know it's not in base 10 because we're told that it's not in base 10. But the only other base that uses Sudoku digits that can be must be base 9. So that means we need to have a 9 in this cell in order to show that this number is in base 9. Now, base 9 with 1 8, so we have 8 in the units column, we have 1 in the nines column, so 9 times 1 is 9, and add 8 and we get 17, and so 17 in decimal, and so that must be an 8, which is actually the largest number we can have in a 2-cell cage, 17, 9 and 8. Okay. So these ones with a 1 in the second column over is really interesting because that 1 on the left represents the base that it is in, right? If you're in base 2, for example, then that is 1, 2, right? So that would be 1, 2 plus 1. But the 2 we need to show that this would be represented in base 2 would actually go here. So that would be the 2 that is represented by this 1. But that is the same for any digit. So this digit, whatever it is going to fulfill the left-hand digit of my 1, 1 cage total. And then I need 1 left over, which is what's in the units column. So this has to be a 1. Likewise, this has to be a 2. Do we have any more? Yeah, we have 1, 1 over here. That has to be a 1. We have a 1, 1 here. That has to be a 1. Okay, that's pretty nice. All right. Okay, this is a 9-cell cage. We know that digits cannot repeat. And we know the secret of Sudoku is that any row, column or box adds up to 45 because the digits in any row, column or box are the digits 1 to 9. That also means that a cage that is 9 cells long with no repeats is also 1 to 9, so the sum of this cage in decimal is 45. Now, because this has a 5 in it, its base must be greater than 5. But what we need is something multiplied by 5, i.e. the base multiplied by 5, plus 0 is equal to 45. So 45 minus 0 is 45. 45 divided by 5 is 9. So, yeah, 9 times... So in base 9, this 5 is representing 5 9s, which is 45 in decimal, plus 0. So we get a 9 there, and these are just going to be the digits 1 through 8 in some order. Okay. This is also a 9-cell cage, so we have the same issue, except this time we have 5 times something plus 5 is equal to 45. So 45 minus 5 is 40, and divide that by 5 and we get 8. So that is going to be an 8. So just to check, if this is in base 8, then these are 5 lots of 8, and that's 40 plus a 5 units, makes 45, which is what we want this to add up to in decimal. Okay, these two are looking a little suspicious, and so is this. So let's have a look at this one first, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is indeed a 9-cell cage, so we know that this adds up to 45. Now, let's see. I know what my gut tells me this is. So let's have a look and see, could this be base 4? If this were base 4, then we would have 0 in the ones. We would have we'd have 0 in the 4s column. This would be a 16s column, which would be 2 lots of 16 are 32. But if that's 16, then 16 times 4 is 64. This would be a 64s column. Well, clearly we can't have one lot of 64 making it 45. So it's definitely not 4. That's too much. It can't be 2 because we're not allowed to use a 2 in base 2. So that has to be 3. And now let's sanity check. We have 0 1s, we have 0 3s, we have 2 lots of 9, which is 18, and we have 1 lot of 27, which is 9 times 3, and 27 plus 18 is indeed 45. Great. Okay. Okay, again, this can't be a 4 in here or higher, because we would have 1 4 plus 1 16 plus 1 64. It clearly can't be a 3, so it must be a 2. So that gives us a value of, so that's 1s, 2s, 4s, and 8s. So that's 1 lot of 8 plus 1 lot of 4, which is 12, plus 1 lot of 2, which is 16. So these add up to 16. Okay. That's a 16 cage in 4 cells. Where does the 8 go in this box? It can't go in any of those because there's an 8 in the cage. There is definitely an 8 in here somewhere, and it's not there by sudoku. So one of those two is an 8. And now we need so we've got 10, we need 16, so we need another 6. 6 in 2 cells that see each other are either 2 4, which it can't be, or we would be repeating a 2, or 1 5. So that is a 1 5 8 cage, or 1 5 8 triple. Okay. Okay, by sudoku we have an 8 in one of these 3, but by the cage it's not in one of those 2, so that's an 8. We need a 2 in this cage, because the cage has the digits 1 through 9 in it. Could go here or down here. Wait, we need a 1 in this cage. And this one tells us it can't be in one of those 2, so that has to be a 1. And that brings a 2 to one of those 2. Oh, which you also could have seen by sudoku as well. Okay. All right. I think that's it for now up here. I'll remove those 8 corner marks, I think. All right. Over here, could this be a 3. We know it can't be a 4 because that would be a 64s. So if this were 3s, that would be 27 plus 9 would be 36, which is already too much because the largest that we can get into 4 cells is 30, which would be 9876. So this is, again, it's binary, so that is 2. By sudoku, we need a 9 in here. This is 15. Wait, have I made a mistake up here? Yes, I have. 1110 is 14, not 16. So, yes, 1110 is 14, so that's 2 plus 8 plus another 4, which is a 1-3. So we can replace all those 5s with 3s, and in fact that one can't be a 3. Okay. Alright, that's better. So this is 15. And we know there's a 9 in there, so again it's 9 with a 1, 2 and a 3. So that has to be a 1. That's a 9-3 pair. Okay, so where does 2 go into this cage? The only place for it is there. These can't be 1, 2, 3 or 9, so that should be a 2. This must be a 1-3 pair, because I need to get a 1 and 3 in this cage somehow. Right, so this is a 2-3 pair because I need somewhere for the 3 to go in this cage. Alright, there we go. Alright, this one is looking down here to make that a 3 and a 1. Where does the 8 go in this 9-cell cage? It can't go in any of those by sudoku. It can't go here because of this box. It can't go here because of the rows. That goes there. Where does the 2 go? Can't go here by the 2-3 pair that's there. It can't go here by the row, so that's a 2. This is really nice, and it's making me think a little bit on the mathy side, but certainly lots to think about. All right. So, by sudoku, there's a 9 in this row, there's a 9 in this row, that must be the 9 there. And then one of those is a 3, but it's not there, so that's a 3. So that is not a 3, that's a 1-8 pair, making that a 3. Very nice. Okay. So, these don't actually help any because whatever digit goes here or here is automatically fulfilled by that leading one. So This one, we'll place an 8 there and a 1 there. Let's at least do some sudoku while we can. Alright. By the fact that this is using a 3, this has to be at least a 4, and in fact we can already determine that because 1, 2 and 3 are already used. Now, the maximum that this could be would be 17 normally, which would be a 9 and an 8. But it can't be that, so its maximum is now 16, which would be a 7 and a 9. Now, could this be base 7? It could not, because if this were base 7, that would be 3 times 7, which is 21, 22. So it can't be base 7. 6, base 6 would give us 18 plus 1, which is 19. That's too much. So that is a 4 or a 5. But that means we can at least fill that digit with candidates. So if this is a 4, that's 3 times 4, which is 12, plus 1 makes 13. 4 plus 9 is 13. And then if this were a base 5, that would be 5, that would be 15, that would be 1 more, which would be 16, but I would need an 11 there, so that is in fact 4 and 9. That's very nice. So these 3 digits are 5, 6, 7. Okay. So, yeah, I think let's have a look at this one. So that can't be a 9 because 2 9s would be 18, and that is more than the 17. It could be an 8. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 1 is 17. So that could actually be 8, 9. It feels suspiciously like it could be. Maybe that's not where to look. Oh, actually, right, we can do some Sudoku. Those 2's there and those 2's there are all looking at this box. So that is a 2. That is going to help because it's going to limit things considerably. All right. So if this were a 3, and I'll note that one of these 2 has to be a 3 by Sudoku. So if this were a 3, then that would be 2 times 3, which is 6. That would be 7. So that'd be 3 plus 2 plus 2 doesn't work. That's not 3. So we can at least put our 3 in. If this were 4, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So we'd have a 4 here to fix the base, plus 2, this would have to be a 3. This is not a 4. Okay, if this were 5, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So we'd get 5 plus 2, which is 7. We would need a 4 here. This is not 5. Okay, so now 6, 7, or 9. Let's have a look. So if this was 6, that would be 12, plus 1 is 13. We already have 8. So we'd need another 5, which it would be. If this were 7, that would be 14 plus 1 is 15. We would have 9, we'd need another 6. All well and good. If this were 9, that would be 18 plus 1 is 19. We would have 11, that would need to be an 8. So that can't be a 9. And then that's not a 7. Right, if that's 6, it's 12, 13, 14. Sorry, 6 times 2 is 12, that's 13. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 5 would be 13. And if this is 7, it's 15, and 7 plus 2 plus 6. Right. So 7 is in one of those two. Right, let's see if I can clean up some ones. Okay, in this column we need a 1 in one of those, but if that were a 1, we would have no possibility for a 1 in this cage, which is 9 cells. So that can't be a 1, so that's the 1. And then in this box, this column, that has to be the 1. All right, that's finished off our 1s, I think. Yep, did we get all our 2s? No, not quite. So we need a 2 in one of those two. And one of those 3 has a 2. How are we doing for 3s? I have a 3 in one of those. Don't think I want to mark that just yet. All right. So what's going on in this cage? We'd said that okay, here's a thing to think about. Where does 9 go in this box? And it goes just by sudoku into one of those two. But if it were in this cell, it would be 9 times 2 is 18, which is more than the 17 maximum. So that is not a 9. That is. So now we have some value minus 9 is going to lead to this digit. So this can't be a 7 by sudoku. So if this were a 6, if this were a 6, then by base 6, that would be 12, 13, but 6 plus 9 is 15. And any lower base is just going to make that even worse. So that does in fact have to be the 8. Okay, that's really nice. So now 4 by sudoku goes here. In fact, what I probably should have said is that those two have to be 4 and 8, and 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So yeah, definitely couldn't be the 4. So this is 5, 6, 7 that go here. That's a 5, 6, or 7. In fact, one of those two is a 5, so that is not a 5. Okay. So I think we have 2 cages left that have interest. I think this is the first one we should look at. This has a maximum base of 7 by Sudoku and a minimum base of 4 by Sudoku. So, if this was 7, 2 7s are 14, plus 2 is 16. So that would have to be 7, 9 to make that 16. So it's not 7. So we're at 4, 5, or 6. If this were a 4, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10 in base 10, so 4 plus 6. If this were 5, that's 10 plus 2 is 12. So 5 would force that to be 7. And if this were 6, we would get 12. 13, 14, we'd need to add 8, which we can't do, so that can't be a 6. So, if this is 4, this is 6. If this is 5, this is 7. Okay, I guess then it is this this cage here. Is there anything that we can think about first? Okay, this is 5 cells. First of all, actually, where does 8 go in this row? The only place for it is there. That makes it nice because that tells us what the value of this cage is. It is 8 times 3, which is 24, plus 5, which is 29. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, 5-cell cage, which does not contain a 9 in it. The maximum that can be is 87654, which is 30. But we've just said that its value is 29, so that the only way to go from 30 to 29 is to subtract exactly 1 from one digit. But if I subtract it from anything other than the lowest digit, I'm going to get a repeated digit. So this is 87653. 87653 and 3. That is not a 3 because of this 2-3 pair, but we do have a 3 in there somewhere. In fact, none of those are 8s because we've already got our 8. So we have a 3 in there somewhere. And in fact, by Sudoku, we can see that it's there. So that means that is a 2 and that is a 3. So this must be the remaining digit for the row, which is a 4. That means I can't put a 4 here. So this has to be a 4. That makes this 5, and just to double check, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So that's 7. Oh, sorry about that, just had a sneeze. Okay, that's not a 7. That is now 5, 6. That must be a 7 by Sudoku. That is not a 7. Okay. This digit here is 5 or 6. Okay, where does the 9 go in this cage? It goes in one of those two, and that makes that the 9 in this box. 4 in this box must now go here. So this is 5, 6, or 7. Okay. These 3 digits in this row are 4, 6, and 8. That one's not a 4. In fact, that one's not a 4, so that's the 4. That 5 means that's not a 5 or a 7. That's a 6. That's a 5. And we said that that had to be a 6, right? So 6 times 2 is 12. So that's 13. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 5 is 13. Yes, that's 6. Making that the 7. That's a 6, that's a 5. That's a 5-7 pair. The 7 in this box must go here. So these are from 9, 5, and 6, and that is a 5 or a 6. That's not 7, so that is. So that's a 5 or a 6. Two in this box goes here. So this is a 4-9 pair which we can place. So this digit must be a 2. This is a 6 or an 8, and by the row it is a 6. That's an 8. That's a 6. That's 6 in the row gives us a 5 and a 6. That gives us a 7 here. That 6 looks up to there to give us a 5 and a 6 and a 5. Oh, the 9 in the row makes that 6 and that 9. Okay. Down here we need 4, 5, and 8. Well, that's where the 8 goes by sudoku. That is 4 and 5, which we do not yet have resolved. This 3 and 9 is resolved by the 9 at the top. In this row we need a 3 which must go there and a 7 there. That 7 resolves the 5 and 7, which resolves the 5 and 4. And then we need 4, 5, and 6 to go here. That's the 6, that's the 4, that's the 5. Yep, that's a really, really fun puzzle. I really enjoyed that. Some nice things to think about for the cages with the 1 in the left hand, with the 2 digits in the left hand place. The telegraphing that this had to be at least a 3, but with 4 digits, 4 would be way too much. And these binary looking numbers strongly hinting that that was the 2. These 45 cages were great, and then just being able to spot that I had to put an 8 there meant I didn't have to think through all of my cases for this 35 or 35 cage, which was that was really nice. Yep, I really enjoyed that, James. I think this is a great puzzle, and I'm sure that others will enjoy it. If you like this solve, then please hit the like button, subscribe to see more, and I would love to hear your comments. I'm looking forward to next time. Be seeing you.